Yogi Tsok Nam La Janchu Bardu Dagni Kapsu Chi Dagi Jinso Gibe Tsok Nam Gi Gola Penchir Songye Du Bar Sho Kedan Soki Chok Nam La Janchu Bardu Dagni Kapsu Chi Dagi Jinso Gibe Tsok Nam Gi Gola Penchir Songye Du Bar Sho Kedan Soki Chok Nam La Janchu Bardu Dagni Kapsu Chi Dagi Jinso Gibe Tsok Nam Gi Gola Penchir Songye Du Bar Sho So the first step is going for refuge. When we say, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha until achieving complete enlightenment. So when you do this, you have to have a thought of renunciation. Then bringing forth that thought of renunciation and holding that as you go for refuge is how we go for refuge. So what's the most important thing when we say I could take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha? That's our refuge, right? So when we do Dharma, there's all these different kinds of Dharma, and we're within the Buddhist Dharma. This is what we're learning and practicing. So then without the refuge, nothing we do becomes Buddhist Dharma. Buddha Dharma. So we say, in order to benefit all sentient beings, I will achieve supreme enlightenment by practicing the 6 perfections. And so then we have the 2 kinds of Buddhist Dharma. There's the Hinayana and Mahayana, the great vehicle. So you need bodhicitta. Bodhicitta is the expansion of your mind. That's how something becomes the Mahayana, the great vehicle. And that's what happens when you think, I'll do whatever it takes in order to achieve great enlightenment for the benefit of all infinite mother sentient beings who are as infinite as space. So this is something we have to understand. We have to learn about this. So when we do Dharma, the Dharma we're doing is Buddhist Dharma. And then in order for that to happen, we go for refuge. Without going for refuge, then the Dharma we're doing does not become Buddhist Dharma. So it won't be able to be considered Buddhist Dharma. So because we're Buddhists, we're people and the Buddhist followers, then we have to go for refuge. And then we say, and the second part of the refuge prayer is bodhicitta. That's when the mind expansion, when we say, through the merit of practicing giving and the other perfections, I will achieve complete Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. That makes our Dharma become Mahayana Dharma, a great vehicle Dharma. So it means making our mind broad and vast. So this is the most broad and vastest way you could think. So ordinarily, we don't think about every sentient being being our mother and being able to benefit all of them. So then we bring this thought into our mind. All mother sentient beings, I'm going to do whatever I can to help them. Make that kind of pure and clear motivation. That's very important. That's extremely important for us. So there's a phrase that comes in the mind training teaching, the Lojong, where it says 2 actions, one at the beginning and one at the end. So the one at the beginning refers to our motivation. We have to have a good motivation. So when we have a good motivation, the action we engage in becomes a good action. So if we don't have a good motivation, then the actual activity we engage in won't turn out well either. So whether we're doing a worldly activity or any kind of activity, the motivation is the most important thing. So because when we compare our own virtues or a virtuous activity to the virtuous activity done by a bodhisattva, it's the bodhisattvas who have more powerful actions, virtuous actions, because their way of thinking is more broad, more vast. They have a broader way of thinking. So someone called me and asked me about doing something, and I said, I'm just an ordinary monk. You don't have to get kind of to make a big crowd around me and make prostrations and everything. I've never done anything like that, like kind of taking a high position. So being a lama doesn't mean like being high and having a position. It just means talking about Dharma. Pardon me, I'm not really able to hear with this setup. We didn't just did ahead of time. So then they requested me to do an explanation of the source of all my good text. So the entire great treatise of the stages of the path to enlightenment of Lama Rinpoche is within the foundation of all good qualities, or the source of all my good, is it's known by those two titles. So the first part is making prayers to the Lama. So that's the entire Lama Rim is in this text. So someone asked me to give this teaching, and I said, that's good, yes. Some of my friends asked me that. We know each other from before, from earlier. And I accepted this request, and so now I'm going to be teaching about the foundation of all good qualities. That's the teaching. So the Lamrim Chemo has a lot of pages, like about 500 pages. So the entirety of that is here within the foundation of all good qualities. Now, if you go into a more extensive explanation, then you get the Lamrim Chemo, but this has all of it in this foundation of all good qualities. So I've taught the Lamrim Chemo before as well. And starting from the section on how to rely on a lama, I've taught this text many times. So we have So it's good if you see a lama and you have faith and make prostrations, but we don't really know what the lama is, what they're like. So, and we have to. That's why we have to actually make a kind of examination of the person. We're allowed to do that. We're allowed to make an examination. We shouldn't just say, "Oh, they're called lamas, so they're high, holy person." We actually have to make a good examination analysis of it. So then be able to understand. Okay, this is a good thing. This is a bad thing. So that's actually what the Buddha, our teacher, he said. My followers and monks and analyze my words like a goldsmith would analyze gold by burning, cutting, and rubbing. Don't just accept my words out of respect. So that's what he actually told everyone, to analyze and then come to an understanding of it and say, okay. So we're allowed to do that. That's actually we're able to make this kind of examination of a person. So when we're talking about making this kind of examination, it's things that we can't see. It's not just like something you can hold in your hand and see. It's something that qualities that we can't see. They're not kind of coarse, rough, easy to understand. So we have to go in to make a deeper examination. So then we'll start to see it. We'll start to see it. So when you look at we look at like the gold. So the first level is something that you first burn it, and then you'll kind of see the underlying layer first, and that's kind of the coarsest level. Then if you start to cut, you'll see more, right? Cut into it, and then when you rub it, then you'll really see on the more subtle level what's there, what kind of material is there. So this is an example of gold on how to make this a kind of examination of different things. So look at the words of the Buddha. See, are there some kind of internal contradictions or not? So what kind of? So he said is that first we shouldn't accept something if it has a kind of is disproven by our direct perceptions. Then we have to check: is this teaching disproven by direct perceptions or not? Likewise, we have to check for things that are more subtle, that are called hidden phenomena, are they contradicted by or disproven by our inferential valid cognitions? So we have to check that. So when we so these days people don't just have automatic faith and just like we haven't seen, you know, the Buddha. So just say, oh, the Lama's saying this, okay, I'm gonna go follow the Buddhist path and become a Buddha. That's not easy to accept like that. So first we analyze, then you see is it correct or it's not, then we shouldn't follow that path. So in order to have a powerful, a clear faith calm, this is why we make this analysis. If we don't do that, we just say, oh, this is very holy, then it's not really that helpful. It's not going to benefit us. So first, we make an analysis, an examination. So there's talking about the water in India. So he's saying that some historical thing that we can sort of have a correct, you know, analysis and you know, correct knowledge of some kind of historical situation. So talking about bringing water from India to China. He's talking about Dharma, actually, not water. The pronunciation is very similar. So anyway, he's talking about someone who brought Dharma or water from India to China. So some teaching the Dharma about lighting something on fire. So someone lit something on fire, and that became like kind of popularized way of practicing Dharma. So the Dharma came from India to China, and so he's saying I got a lot of strong faith from seeing something here. I can't quite. You know, stories are difficult to understand. So when we're practicing Buddhist Dharma, we do need faith and confidence in it, but we need to have it stable. We need to make it sure that it's a stable confidence. So not just kind of, assuming and kind of just pretending in a way, that, oh yeah, I'm a faithful person, I believe. But to really analyze first is important. So the other, so within the Buddhist tradition, there aren't any people who say, oh, you have to just believe this, you have to just believe this. There's no Buddhist people, teachers like that in the world. And that's very good. It's a good tradition. So if we really analyze and see that there's no contradiction, then our faith becomes stable. So that's how Dharma is. It's that kind of religion or Dharma. So before, when I was younger, people would say, "Oh, the Dharma is really amazing, really holy thing," and I didn't know why. So we have this kind of have to understand what our Dharma is. So that's why we're going to be talking about the foundation of all good qualities. So how do we do a good Dharma practice? That's what so we have to become friends with each other, and we will become friends. So there's a quote from Shantideva, which I don't recognize. So he's saying if you have to go across a vast ocean, you can't walk there. You have to rely on a ship. So, in dependence on this basis of a human body, then we can go to the far shore of enlightenment. We go beyond suffering. So without a ship, we can't go across the ocean. Without this basis of a human body, we can't go beyond suffering. So the animals, the gods, they can't do it. Only you absolutely must have the body of a human, the basis of a human life. So that's why we can do this as a human. And it's something which is extremely hard to come possession of, to find. So what does it mean that it's hard to find? So because it's really hard to find, then you really need to practice Dharma well. You have to do. If you don't, then if you just think, oh, I can do it next life, there's no certainty for that. So you have to do it now. That's what Shantideva is advising us, telling us. So don't just hang out and relax. That's not appropriate to just kind of sit around and relax. So you have to take the essence of this life. Take it well. Okay, so let's start going through the foundation of all good qualities. Also called the source of all my good. The source of all my good is my Khan Lama, my Lord. Bless me first to see that taking myself to him in the proper way is the very root of the path, and grant me then to serve and follow him with all my strength and reverence. So it's extremely important. It's taught that it's extremely important to rely properly on the Lama, on the Gewei Shinyan, the Geshe or spiritual teacher. So Shinyan Tenbitsu is the way of relying on the life of the Geshe, the spiritual friend. And there's a kind of a more expanded way of explaining it, and then a summarized way. So if we do this practice properly, then we won't accumulate non-virtue or negativity. So that's the root. That's the root of the path. The relying on the Lama, relying on the Geshe. So what does it mean to be the root of the path? So all the different stages, the very root is relying on the Lama. So without that, you won't be able to go on the path well. So you need to have a proper way, a good way of relying on the Geshe. So that's why the text says the source. The source means the root. It's another way of saying that. It's the very root of the path. Okay, that's the one. The very root of the path. So you have to rely properly in the right way. So it's extremely important. The Lama, relying on the Lama. So all of the qualities, the goodness we have, whether it's something a small little thing or a big thing, it all depends on our Lama. So nothing good that we no qualities of ourselves that we want, the good qualities will come without relying on the Lama. So there's some quote. So what we have comes from our Lama. It depends on the Lama. Depends on relying on the Lama. There's some quote that I catch. So there won't be any fire if you don't have the right fuel. So the Buddha has great blessing, but without this is what he said. The Buddha has great blessing, but without the Lama, we can't receive the blessing of the Buddha. The Lama is the one that actually gives us the blessings. So we get the Buddha's blessings and dependence on our Lama. So that's why it's important. The blessings are important. No, a lot of people don't understand how important they are. So he was looking, when the Buddha first achieved enlightenment, right after he achieved enlightenment, he was looking for someone to teach. So someone
So someone was saying something that was sort of nonsense, like saying something incomprehensible, that you couldn't understand. So it's a sign that you can't speak properly. So he said, "Come here." Come here. So he's saying, if he's a Buddha, he has to something. I didn't hear the term. So there's a lot of people who kind of discriminate against the Lama, or have a kind of see them in a low way. So the Lamas really, they're very valuable, very important, valuable people. So they're the one that kind of guides us to how to go to the next life. Lama is the one that shows us how to properly go into a good next life. So that's very valuable. So our parents, kind of show us what to do in this life. They kind of teach us everything and then leave it in our hands. So now it depends on us to practice in order. So the Buddha and the Lamas give us everything we need, and then it depends on us. So we have to practice it. That's extremely, extremely important. You understand, right? So we say, I go for refuge to the Lama, I go for refuge to the Buddha, I go for refuge to the Dharma, I go for refuge to the Sangha. So the Lama is very important. You understand, right? It's the root of the path. So it's the basis of all good qualities, or the source of all good qualities. Depends on your Lama. So that's about the Lama. That's the important thing to understand about the Lama. So you have to do it in the right way, the correct way. So understand, so get to know them very well. Get familiar with them. So first, make kind of do sort of research about who they are, not just kind of without thinking about it, without doing any research, just automatically go follow them. Don't do it that way. So you could analyze for 11 years, 10 years, then they can really, then it can, that's a good habit or a good practice. Analyze for 11 years, 10 years. There's a lot of cases like that in history. So that's why the teaching is that it's important to rely on the Lama. So now the offering of the tea. So thank you everybody for coming and good evening and just giving an introduction to Khensur Rinpoche. So move this. So we asked him to come, and he he said, "Oh no, we don't need to have any events." And then we asked him again to please come. So he agreed to 2 days. So today is mainly the four foundation of all good qualities, and tomorrow will be the four mindfulnesses of the Lobsang and the seventh Dalai Lama. And then there's going to be some. He has a lot of done a lot of retreats from Rinpoche, and so he has a lot of he can give a lot of the mantras and things. So from the side of the Sera Monastery and Buddhist Center, we asked him to give some of these teachings and practices. So I just think this is a really valuable opportunity for us, a really rare opportunity. So it's good for this community here, and so everyone in our Sera community considers him to be the sort of highest teacher we have in our Sera monastery. And so tomorrow there'll be it's the 10th of the month, and so, so, so if we did request an empowerment, Rinpoche would probably give one, but we all know that it's actually really important before practicing tantra and doing empowerments that we hear the basic explanations of the sutra. So out of sutra and tantra, we need to first understand the sutra teachings. So to have a good, clear understanding and awareness of what the Buddhist teaching is. So without a good awareness of the general Buddhist teaching, then it's, to be honest, really difficult to practice tantra. So it's important first to have a good, clear awareness of the Buddhist teaching, good understanding. So that's why we have this Lam teaching, the foundation of all good qualities, and then we asked Rinpoche to give this, and he's giving that teaching, and it has the practice of the unity of the the unity of merit and wisdom, and then tomorrow, likewise, there will be the teaching of the four mindfulnesses. And so that text even has also tantra explanations in it. That has everything from sutra and tantra all in that one text. So that's a good thing to give an explanation of. So first, today is the Lam Rim, source of all my foundation of all good qualities. Tomorrow, the view of emptiness of the four mindfulnesses. And so this is really important to gain this good understanding of the Dharma. So this is why we have this.
English speaker actually for.
Yes.
Here, Sera Buddhist Culture Center requested to Khensur Rinpoche, the former abbot of Sera Monastery, as well as former monastery of the Gyume Tangri College. So Khensur Rinpoche has actually well known for all our monastery, and it has graduated from for classically monastery all this education, and hold the high, very appreciated and respectful in our monastery in reality. So that's why actually our Center Sera Buddhist Culture has taken this great opportunity for Khensur Rinpoche visit here to teach us, give us these teachings, such for this short Lamrim today, the foundation for all good qualities text, as well as also tomorrow for this the four mindfulness of viewpoint, and then also as well as also for the transmission of those mantras, different ones which he had already received from his Holy Dalai Lama, as well as the Ling Rinpoche and many other high teachers, which Khensur Rinpoche already had. So that's why we are very lucky to receive all these teachings in Sutra as well as in Tantri from his directly. So that's why we request him kindly, and Khensur Rinpoche has accepted kindly to give us these teachings. So that's why I told, on behalf of all of us, great thanks and appreciate on behalf of all of us. That I would like to say you here. And then please enjoy and listen to this, those teaching explanation today and tomorrow from the Refuge, right, regarding this teaching. Thank you to all of you.
And if for some reason there's a problem with the stream, please send a text in the WhatsApp group or something. Okay, I got a different translation of the text, so that's I'll go with that one from now. So now what's the second verse here? Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly day and night takes its essence. So not all human bodies are like a precious human body. It's really rare to have a precious human body. So it's kind of specially qualified human life that we're talking about. So it depends on your own mind. So if you just think, you have to think of what kind of action is going to bring about this kind of human body. Do the research, do the analysis. So it's extremely difficult to find this human life. Extraordinarily difficult. So in dependence on the accumulation of the unstained or pure merit, then we can achieve this. And the free merit and wisdom. Depends on your own mind to do this. So first you have to hold good ethical conduct. And then all the 6 perfections you have to do. So generosity, ethical conduct, fortitude, concentration, and joyous effort. So how would any of this happen without the practice of fortitude? Without having this practice of fortitude, we can't achieve a human life that has this special qualities. So we can't just think, may I achieve it, may I earn this life without practicing fortitude or patience. So we talk about the 6 perfections, and you guys know this about those, right? So check yourself. Are you holding ethical conduct? Are you practicing fortitude or not? So there's no hope at all to achieve this kind of special human life without doing these practices. So it's within your own mind, by looking at your own mind, that you know whether or not you do these practices. So it's not just within. So it's really hard to find. It's not something that's easy to find. So when you're teaching the text, then the microphone is. So I usually speak very loudly. I was telling some kind of like story or joke or something. It's just I lack the vocabulary for that. I was saying turn up the volume. So this is really difficult to find the human life and to get this specially qualified human life. So do some kind of negative actions. The karma is definite. That's what karma. Your actions are definite in the result they give. So it's very hard to find the human life. So in terms of many different, from many different aspects, we can think of how difficult it is to find a human life like this. So it's also extremely important. It allows you to accomplish a lot of important activities. You have to find that because it's something that it's meaningful, deeply meaningful. What is it meaningful like that? Because you're able to accomplish benefit for both yourself and others. If you want whatever you want to do to help others, you can do. If you want to do something for the next life, you can. If you can want to accomplish something for this life, you're able to. So for next life, to achieve the gods and human lifetime, you're able to accomplish that with your special human basis. And then within one lifetime, just in this very body itself, you'd be able to achieve full enlightenment. So that's the kind of precious human life, the specially qualified human life that we've achieved. So it's meaningful, and you understand that it's meaningful. Then then it says, "Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly takes its essence." So the best, the kind of essence, we're talking about the essence of life. The best is achieving Buddhahood, and then the kind of next level is achieving Arhat. It's something important. It's something that's very difficult to find, and it's easy to lose it. Those are the three reflections we should do. So when we think about this, how difficult it is to find this life, then we'll have the correct motivation to practice Dharma. Well, the inspiration to practice Dharma will come. By thinking about how difficult it is to find, then practicing Dharma in this life is going to come. Because we'll see, oh, it's so hard to get this again, I better do it now. So, sorry, the first was by thinking of how important, valuable it is, then we'll have the aspiration to practice Dharma. By thinking about how hard it is to find, we'll have the aspiration to do it in this lifetime. So it's meaningful. If we understand that the precious human life is meaningful, then we'll automatically think to practice Dharma. And this understanding how difficult it is to find, we realize that if we don't actually use it in this life, then we won't have a chance again. So we want to practice Dharma in this life. And then when we understand how easy it is to lose it, then we'll want to practice right now, because we'll see that it could be lost at any time. Those are so those three aspects of this meditation on precious human life are going to give us this motivation to practice Dharma now. If you really let yourself think through it, let it percolate in mind. So if we have a strong desire, then slowly we can reduce our desire. If we have very strong anger, then slowly we can reduce our anger. So we practice. That's what becoming a Dharma practitioner is about. You guys have strong faith. If you have strong desire, then you'll know. If you have strong anger, then you'll know. So reducing those qualities, that's the Dharma. So there's nothing else you can't really extend your life beyond lifespan. So we have to practice to get ready for next life. You have to know the reason for doing the Dharma. What? But for knowing the Dharma. So. What kind of answer would you give if someone asks you, why do you need to know the Dharma? It's not to fill your stomach. So we have to go to next life. So because we have to go to next life. That's not the only reason. There's two different places we could go in the next life. We could go to a positive life or also to a suffering life. Those two are the only options. So you might not know where you go after life. So there's nowhere else to go but those two options. Oh. So it's not about who's wealthiest or most brave or anything like that. Everybody goes in the same place and has to go to the next life. So thinking about that, then an understanding of the need for Dharma will come a little bit. So there's a lot of things we do in this life. Probably most of us half our life is gone already, or maybe more. So there's not much time left. So when we think about preparing all this, kind of spending time to prepare different objects for this life, when we think about next life, it's not a question of years or months. It's a question of eons and eons. How much time will continue in the future lives. So most people aren't really preparing for going to the next life, right? They're just preparing for doing things in this life. Someone might say, "Oh, please lend me some money. That's just for this life." Right? So we're going to go to the next life. It's true. So then if you know that and you prepare for that, that's really wealth. That's what it means to have wealth. So we have to know these reasons in order to know why we should work towards this for practicing Dharma. Some story. Someone was saying to an elder person, "You're old. Don't do too much work. Just rest." So there's no choice. He said the person responded, "There's no choice. We have to work hard." So it's good if you spend maybe half your time focused on preparing for future life, and then half focusing on this life. Very, very smart. So then understanding this human life is meaningful, it's hard to find, it's easy to lose. So now you understand why you have to do these, right? So what's the reason it's important and meaningful? What do you, when you think about it, what's like thinking? So then what about thinking about how it's hard to find? Also thinking about how easy it is to lose, and you know, if I don't do it right now, it's not gonna. There's no time. I have to practice. This is like impermanence, right? Like death. So there's the verse we always say, a star, mirage, the flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew, a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. So when death comes, you can't prepare. You don't know when it's gonna come. So that's the impermanence of death reflection. So then we could experience. Right now, we haven't had any experience of the lower realm, so we don't think of it. We don't see it. But if it actually comes to you, then now the next verse. This life is as permanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays. Oh, sorry, he's talking about taking the essence, the last verse. So there's different levels of taking the essence of this life. So achieving the highest one is achieving full awakening. The middling kind of essence is being liberated from samsara. Then taking the lowest level of taking the essence is achieving a high rebirth. So then the mantra so is about going and progression, going higher and higher, progressing to something. So going from the path of accumulation, the path of preparation, the path of seeing, the path of meditation going higher and higher. So bless me to generate the mind that anticipates day and night takes its essence. So this life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly the decay of death comes. After death, it's just like a shadow follows the body. The results of an active karma follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful. Abandon the slightest negativities and accomplish all virtuous deeds. So we have to remember and be mindful of death. We absolutely have to be mindful of death. Think about it. So if we don't think about death, so we have to actually apply the remedies to our problems through practicing Dharma. So you yourself have to think about death and impermanence. So we have our positive light actions and then our negative dark actions. Those follow us. So we have the perception of permanence, or the grasping at permanence, very strong. So we have to think about the reasons for impermanence. We're not always just holding everything to be permanent. So those are opposite. So the reason we get attachment, desire, distraction. So he's saying something else about the reasons for impermanence. But think about impermanence a lot. So we think about our relatives and family, and we just kind of assume they're just going to stay there like that. But that's not all what's going to happen. So we have these positive karmas and these negative karmas. So positive karmas, then a good life will be taken later. If we have negative actions, then a bad life will be taken later. So that's why it says the results of black and white karma follow. So please bless me always to be careful to abandon even the slightest negativities, accomplish all virtuous deeds. So don't do any negative karma whatsoever. That's the practices for being of small spiritual capacity. So next verse. Seeking samsaric pleasures is the door to all suffering. They are uncertain and cannot be relied upon. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate the strong wish for the bliss of liberation. So this is now the practices for a person of the medium spiritual capacity. Sorry, I'm having some trouble understanding a lot of what he's saying. So he's saying that we can work really hard and then still get all sorts of suffering. So there's nothing certain about this life, about samsara, nothing reliable. It's very changeable. Everything is very fickle. They're not reliable in samsara. All the pleasures of samsara. What are the cause of them? Cause of pleasures of samsara. No matter how much you get, you don't get rid of your desire. So he's saying that the samsaric pleasures they have these big problems with them, the big flaws. So mentioning different kinds of flaws with samsara. Most people are seeking just for the pleasures of this life, but we really should be seeking for omniscience, liberation. There's no good reason whatsoever for seeking the pleasures of samsara. So when you have a good food or drink, it's just for a split second, and it's gone. So please bless me to generate strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The fruit of the teachings is keeping the prana-moksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. So those are the individual liberation vows. That's the fruit of liberation. So that helps to accumulate virtue and purify negativities. So then there's the lay male and lay female, and then the ordained male and female. Those are all different types of individual liberation vows. Just as I have fallen into this sea of samsara, so have all mother migratory beings please bless me to see this train in supreme bodhicitta and bear the responsibility of freeing these migratory beings. Even if I develop practices for beings of great capacity. So every living being, just like us, is in this deep ocean of samsara. So we're all stuck here. All mother beings want to free them from this ocean of samsara. So the responsibility is really come down to us. So the great treatise. There's not a single being who hasn't been your mother. And every mother being wants to have happiness and not suffering, so you should aim to relieve their suffering and give them happiness. So everything we know, it comes, like in this life, comes from our mother, right? Everything we know comes from our mother. So we have to see the mother of this life because it's considered extremely important. But when your mom gets cold, and if you put her into an old folks home, we have to think about how from the time you were tiny, your mother held you in her stomach, womb. So J Rinpoche Tsongkhapa says in the Lamrim Chenmo how your mother would eat the right food. She wouldn't eat spicy food or harmful food for you while you were even in the womb. She was very careful. So he's saying, don't drink coffee. Your mother didn't drink coffee. So your mother really took care of you in every way and raised you. So even from the time you were in the womb, she was very cognizant of your needs and was careful. Oh, okay, sorry. We're gonna have a switch of the translator, so the translator will come from this phone. Everyone keep listening. Hopefully you'll understand more now. Apologies, the conversational style of teaching I'm very unused to, and kind of a lot of vocabulary or just ways, expressions that I'm just not familiar with. Sorry about that. Gang, 숨겨지다. 숨겨놓은 거. 나랑 인지게 돌아 순다. 나랑. 순다. 인지게 그냥 인지게 돼서 순다. 림버시기 순거든. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Just give him a minute to get set up there. So it's talking about the mother being extremely kind for us. So all beings have been our mother, so now it's our responsibility, it's our job to. So if a mother okay, can
and now next
Okay, I still have to play. I'm sorry, I still have to put the audio from here so he can hear it. Okay.
To get free from the suffering and origin of suffering, right? Right? Delusionism and negative karma. On here, just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so all have mother microbes being, right? Beings. So please bless me to see this present supreme bodhicitta and bear the spurs of free micro beings. Then after a person, a person have developed the individual person have developed a strong wish, attention, right, and with the to get free from suffering, cause of suffering. Then individual have then through the awareness, through understanding. Then now person have developed strong wish and to help other people, towards other sentient beings, to other sentient beings to get free from the in-person link to
Sorry.
now when I translating here, when you see on me, and then after renunciation, individuals have developed strong renown to get free from the delusions, suffering, cause of suffering, delusion. And then individual develops next for the compassion, develop the compassion towards all sentient beings. Right, have and same thoughts, develop the same thoughts towards other sentient beings. We develop the strong wish towards other sentient beings to free from suffering, cause of suffering. That one thing. And then, through that the compassion, generate the compassion, then that leads to generate the bodhicitta mind. That's why here, please bless me to see this training supreme bodhicitta and be the response for free migrant being bodhicitta. Here, point. Yeah, okay, thank you. Bodhicitta. And then seems like then after develop the bodhicitta. Here bodhicitta mind. What's the bodhicitta? Bodhicitta mind means a person, individual have developed strong wish, intention, and aspiration, right? Towards other sentient beings to get free from suffering and cause of suffering by myself. That's the bodhicitta. With that bodhicitta, then individual have next step is engage into the practice of six perfections, six paramitas, six perfection, right? Six paramita. Then and next one is Simzakinya Surinam Solo Komalbina Chanjumito levels Yes, next one is even if I develop the only Buddhist, I don't practice the three types of morality. Yes, I will not achieve the enlightenment. That's true. So with my clear recognition of these, please bless me to practice the bodhicitta vows with great energy. Yes, the individual have taken the bodhisattva vows, which means taking the commitment by oneself to to engage into the six paramita until I achieve the enlightenment. That's called the bodhicitta. Commitment, strong commitment, strong commitment, and also aspiration and commitment, both here. Bodhicitta and bodhisattva vows. So bodhicitta has two types. Aspiration bodhicitta, firstly, initially. Then after that, that aspiration bodhicitta will lead to generate the engagement bodhicitta. That's called engagement bodhicitta. Then that engagement bodhicitta, with engagement bodhicitta, then six paramita. Engage in the six paramita. Action, right? Yeah. So that's why engagement in the bodhicitta, then it was is moral practice, moral engage in the moral discipline, practice of moral discipline, three training, moral discipline, very important. And then training in moral discipline, training in the concentration, right? So training in moral discipline already here, right? Even with my clear relation, please bless me to practice the Buddhism with the great energy. Yes. And then next one, once I have pacified distraction from wrong objects and correctly analyzed the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within the mind stream, unified path of calm, abiding, special insight. Discipline and training the discipline. The next one is calm abiding. Training in the calm abiding, which means samadhi or shamadhi, right? And then special insight means vipassana. So training in yes, training three high trainers. Yes, practicing three high trainers. Moral discipline in samadhi and vipassana. Calm abiding and special insight. Three. That's one thing. And then after three training, that's very, very helpful to reduce the all negative emotion, every emotion step by step, actually. Firstly, training moral discipline will training moral discipline will be develop all our positive qualities, many qualities, mindfulness, concentration, all things, right? And especially as well as it will abandon many other negative action and negative and also negative affecting emotions. Through the with the moral discipline, but not complete all negative, some part, some level. And next one is training in calm abiding samadhi. Next step. After the experience of gain the experience of the training moral discipline, the individual next will is training in calm abiding the samadhi. That will also reduce the many of the negative emotions and develop the many spiritual qualities. Qualities or maybe experience when remove any of those emotions more some level. Yeah. And then next one with that experience training in the with experience from the training in the moral discipline and samadhi, the individual will be gain wisdom, vipassana. That will be that will fight with the root cause of all delusions, root cause of every emotion, self-grasping mind, disorder view, self-grasping mind, and then as well as self-attachment, attachment on self and attachment on mind. So that will be can be reduced and aided by the special wisdom, understanding of self, which understanding of selflessness of emptiness by the special insight mind, Shantom, Vipassana mind training. So that's why here at this point, once I specify distraction for wrong objects and thoroughly analyze the meaning of them, please bless me to generate my mind state, a unified part of calm abiding special insight. It's true. Yeah. And then now, which is going on next one is having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, please bless me to enter the holy grail of the fortunate ones, the supreme master makers. Then, with the means of samadhi vipassana, emptiness, emptiness, course of condition, truth and absolute truth. And then, which will be, how say that is experience, spiritual knowledge, experience, spiritual wisdom. Having very much motivating, strong motivation and motivation, and being active and quickly actively. That means very strong condition of mind. So Tantriya mind here need strong motivation, strong and powerful motivation, bodhicitta. Bodhicitta is the motivation. Bodhicitta, strong bodhicitta will be lead by the mind, of course, the mind practice emptiness, compassion into the emptiness from the supremacy, learn from together. And after the Tantriya, inhibition to the Tantriya, correctly this one. Please bless me to enter the holy grail of fortunate customer Vashavika. After the next one. Next one. Time the basis for a complete that means is keeping pure vows and samadhi, and I have become firmly convinced of these. Please bless me to protect these vows and bless life by life. And then in the Tantriyana teaching and intuition, first of course, see the initiation, fully initiation. Initiation should be the vessel should be blessed for pure knowledge. That's very important. Experienced teachers, experienced lama, experience in Tantriya initiation, as well as having holding the pure knowledge. That's very important here. And with that initiation, the initiation will be wrapping our mind, wrapping ourselves. That's the link. Our mind, our minds. The seed of Buddha nature to wrapping the seeds of Buddha nature in quickly more powerful, more arising. That initiation, that individual for next year, after receiving initiation, individual must also keep stage of faith and to receive the Sera. Today teacher Lama wants to provide summary of the Dharma of the teaching of Lama wants to explain all the beneficial interpretation. Okay, so now there's the closing of the Lama hearing and prayers. So please can explain the benefit in operation.
Thank you.